So what's going on, YouTube? My name is Dom, and this video is going to be sort of different than for me. A lot of you guys in my last video and in previous comments have asked me to go ahead and share my thoughts and opinions about the Modern Warfare beta, because that's kind of a hot topic right now. And Modern Warfare is especially prominent and important, I think, to talk about because it's such a change for the franchise. It's changing to incorporate a lot of different things in it, so it's attracting new audiences and trying to make old audiences happy at the same time, and it's really led to a rift in the community. First, let me preface this by saying that unbeknownst to a lot of the people who have viewed my content is that I am a big Call of Duty fan. I've picked up every single Call of Duty at launch since Black Ops 2. That's where I really got into it, and then I just continued on in the franchise. Since then, getting every single one at launch. I'm not going to be getting this one at launch, though. And my reasons why are a little bit different. I feel like, if I'm going to be honest, I feel like a lot of the big names out there that cover Call of Duty, a lot of the big YouTubers that are covering it, are not being 100% honest in their feedback. I feel like it's motivated by self-interest, and I understand why they would be doing that. But I haven't heard any of the big names in the community talk about my biggest impression, my biggest feedback, and the reason why I don't like this game. And I know the audience that I'm speaking to, a lot of you guys are like hardcore military shooters, you guys like military simulators, you guys like that sort of thing, and Call of Duty is going more in that direction. It hasn't nailed it. It has a lot of issues, and I'm not going to be talking about the common ones that a lot of big names have been talking about. Let me explain my position. Let me try to articulate it. So, in the past few years, ever since I got into Call of Duty for me, and I think for a lot of people, was always a casual shooter where you could hop in, hop around, and just have some fun and not have to worry about intensely focusing or just taking that shit serious in order to do good. For me, Call of Duty, and I think for a lot of people, was always that you could just hop into a match and you could just fucking twitch shoot, hip fire, quick scope, no scope, and throwing knives and nades and all this shit, just chaos, and you could do good without having to go super hardcore, without having to try to do your best every single match. And that served a valuable place in my life. So when I play games like Ghost Recon, or I'm playing games like Rainbow Six Siege, or more tactical hardcore military simulators, I'll even throw Battlefield in there, even though it doesn't quite fit that category. But whenever I'm playing those games, I'm really intently focusing, trying to do my best, and I have fun with those games because I take it serious, because I'm playing simulation, because I'm trying to get immersed, and that's why I have so much fun with those games. But it gets to the point where your mind gets drained, and you get burnt out, and you cannot be doing that every single time you hop in for a game session. So I would always resort to Call of Duty. I always had Call of Duty to be the yin to my yang, right? So I had Call of Duty to be that game where I don't have to think. I can hop in, do decent, and have fun. It was just a lot more fun to take that mental break and have that game where you didn't have to think about things, where you didn't have to focus intently. And Call of Duty was always good at what it did in that respect. The problem for me is that the core gameplay in this Call of Duty has changed. You're going to hear this from a lot of YouTubers, that this game encourages a slower pace, a more sound hoary pace. You're going to try to listen for footsteps, even though the footsteps are not really that accurate. It's kind of hard, but you really have to focus. You don't have your mini map. You don't. You have a lot of head glitches that are available to you. This is a game that is suited to be more of a slower pace, more punishing Call of Duty, and that I don't think is what anybody necessarily. Maybe they think they want it from this series. But my whole issue is, why would you try to make Call of Duty into more of a realistic, into more of a hardcore shooter, when you have Rainbow Six Siege, you have Ghost Recon, you have Battlefield, you have Insurgency, you have Arma, you have all of these different games that are meant for realistic shooting to get immersed into. Call of Duty was really one of the only games that was an arcade shooter. So when it comes to arcade Twitch shooting, what other game out there does that? So when we want a mental break from the intense focus and from the serious play that we get from like Battlefield and Ghost Recon and shit and Siege, where the fuck is going to be our break? Where's going to be the break and say, I just want to fuck around and have fun? and not have to really focus, and I could just fuck around and drink and have fun playing this game and take the mental break that I need. Call of Duty always served that purpose for me. And I think a lot of people really come at it from that casual perspective. This game is not casual friendly. There is a steep learning curve to it. Over the past 2 beta weekends, I probably put in anywhere from 25 to 30 hours. I definitely put in a lot more hours the first weekend. I didn't put in as much the second weekend because I really did not want to play it. The ground war mode is kind of cool. It's okay, but it still suffers from the same technical issues that the PvP, that the regular multiplayer suffers from, like lighting issues, bullet recognition issues, bad fucking spawns, terrible spawns. I mean, that's like a knockoff Battlefield. If you want to play that kind of game mode, why don't you just go play Battlefield? And then you have destructible environments. You have a lot more weapons. Well, I don't know how many they're going to have, but you have a lot better vehicle operations, and you have a lot bigger maps. If you're going to do that half-ass conquest, why don't you just go play fucking Battlefield? That's what Battlefield is. So people, I feel like a lot of the community tried to change Call of Duty into other games, but there's a reason Call of Duty is Call of Duty. When I want Call of Duty, I want 3-lane maps. I want hip-fire twitch shooting. I don't want a lot of angles. I don't want to have to sit there and sit in a corner and listen for footsteps. I want to be able to see my enemies firing when they're on the minimap. I want all of those things that make Call of Duty what Call of Duty is. And I might be alone in the community. I might be a silent voice here. But I feel like a lot of people want that too, because if Call of Duty turns into a realistic shooter, what kind of arcade shooters are we going to have? What casual experience games are we going to have? Now, Call of Duty is still very casual compared to the other games that I mentioned. It is very casual in that respect. But the problem with it is, it's kind of in the middle, and because it's in the middle between a casual and a realistic shooter, it doesn't do either of those categories any justice. It doesn't do either category good. It doesn't do fully arcade good. It doesn't do fully realistic good. It doesn't do immersion good. It doesn't do anything good because it doesn't decide on what it wants to be. I honestly am probably going to be playing as my casual shooters. If I can even find a lobby, I'll probably still be playing Black Ops 4 for my breaks, and I'll be playing Black Ops 3 and going back to those, because this new one is just not one that's going to provide a mental break for me. So when I get sick of these serious simulator games, these hardcore tactical games, what the fuck am I going to play? So anyway, these are my thoughts. These are things that I was thinking about that I have not heard any other YouTuber talk about. Please let me know what you guys think. Please don't be hostile towards me in the comment section. I know some people get very touchy about this subject. Please don't be hostile towards me. It's just an opinion about a video game. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And this weekend is the Ghost Recon beta. I'm going to be playing the shit out of it. I'm hoping to live stream it. I'm actually getting new internet because my internet right now is crap. So hopefully I have that up and running, and hopefully I could have a stream for you guys on Saturday or Sunday. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.